Tyrese Haliburton is a special talent. Ever since making it to the NBA, but especially ever since getting acquired by the Indiana Pacers, Tyrese has been on an incredible tear. Making certain improvements to his game season after season, and in this most recent season, Tyrese is playing out of his mind. As he's recently coming off an incredible 43-point performance on very efficient shooting numbers as well, in a game versus the Charlotte Hornets, and going forward from here, it just seems like the sky's the limit for this guy. But quickly, before we get the video started, for those of you who may not know, I'm Juicy Sports. I make opinionated NBA content, and if you guys enjoy videos similar to this, hit that subscribe button, that like button, and that post notification bell. I also want to quickly mention that I recently started up an MMA channel, and if you guys are interested in that, the link will be in the description. But anyways, let's get into it. Tyrese Haliburton was originally drafted with the number 12 overall selection during the 2020 NBA draft by the Sacramento Kings. And originally when Tyrese was coming into the NBA, he was seen as a very interesting talent. He was seen as a guy that did a really nice job defensively at not only guarding point guards, but had a nice ability to guard other positions as well. But in terms of his offensive ability, it was a little bit limited, or at least it was seen to be a little bit limited, as he had a decent ability to drive all the way to the basket, not only having the ability to get there, but also had a decent ability to finish around the basket. But in terms of his overall jump shot shooting, it definitely was a concern. Because in college, he definitely proved the ability to shoot that mid-range jump shot or even that three-point jump shot. But when you looked at his overall jump shot form, it was a little bit clunky and it did take a decent amount of time to get up. And teams going into that year's draft were just a little bit concerned about him being able to shoot that jump shot at the NBA level. And those concerns were the reason why he went with the 12th overall selection. But once Tyrese made it to the NBA, he looked extremely impressive right away. As in his rookie season, he averaged 13 points per game on 3 boards and 5.3 assists. And when you look at those statistics, they definitely are really impressive for a rookie, but I personally thought he played even better than those numbers would suggest. Because if you watch him in his rookie year, it was pretty clear that he was doing a really nice job at not only driving all the way to the basket and getting finishes, but he was also doing a really nice job in proving his doubters wrong by shooting his three-point jump shot and even his mid-range jump shot at a pretty decent percentage. As Tyrese is doing a really nice job at playing alongside De'Aaron Fox and hitting those catch-and-shoot three-point jump shots, but he was also even doing a really nice job at creating for himself, whether you talk about from that three-point range or even at times from that mid-range area. And overall, when you looked at his offensive abilities, it was pretty clear that this guy was significantly overperforming the expectations he had going into the NBA. And of course, that's not to mention everything that he was advertised about going into the league in terms of his defensive ability. Tyrese was doing a great job at defending multiple positions at a really high level at the NBA level. And the great thing about Tyrese is after that very successful rookie campaign, he never looked back from there. As in his second season with the Kings, he bumped his numbers up to 14 points on 3.9 rebounds and 7.4 assists. And although the Kings decided to trade him mid-season for some reason, with the Indiana Pacers, he played even better. As during the 26 games that he played during that same season with them, he bumped his numbers up across the board to 17 points per game on 4.3 boards and 9.6 assists. Just extremely impressive statistics for a guy who was in his second season and also got traded mid-season. And after those 26 games that he did play with the Indiana Pacers, it was pretty clear that Indiana had a real building block to build around for the long-term future. It was pretty clear that Tyrese Haliburton was going to be a special talent. And luckily for the Pacers, Tyrese proved them right. As the season following that, he ended up averaging 20 points per game on 3.7 boards and 10.4 assists, and the season following that, which is this year, in the short sample size that we've seen him in 5 games so far, he's averaging 24 points per game on 4 boards and 12.4 assists. And as I mentioned before, Tyrese is even coming off an extremely impressive 43-point performance over the Charlotte Hornets. So a question that some of you may be wondering at this point is, how was Tyrese able to get this good? Because going into the NBA, although people definitely did see potential in this guy, which is the reason he did go relatively early in the first round, at the end of the day, nobody expected in their wildest dreams that Tyrese was going to be as good as he currently is. Well, in my opinion, I think it comes down to a couple different factors, but the first factor that I want to touch upon is I just think the scouts get it wrong. As although in college Tyrese was nowhere near the offensive player that he currently is, I still at the same time don't think he got enough credit for the offensive player that he was, because I think scouts couldn't wrap their mind around his jump shot. shot. They just thought that it was too clunky, it was too slow, and it wouldn't be effective whatsoever at the NBA level. So if he made it to the league and he wasn't able to shoot a 3-point jump shot, or even a jump shot for that matter, at the NBA level whatsoever, it was really going to limit his offensive abilities, and due to that make him a significantly worse player. But of course, as we all know at this point, Tyrese was able to make it to the NBA with that jump shot and shoot it at a really high percentage. Because although Tyrese definitely did play better in his first rookie season in the NBA as opposed to what he was playing like in college, I think at the end of the day, he didn't make as much of an improvement or was as much of a surprise as we were otherwise sold going into the league. Tyrese was always a really good player in college and high school and throughout his whole career. But the next reason for why Tyrese was able to get as good as he is now is due to his overall work ethic. But when you see a player, especially a young player, continuously get better season after season, what that tells you is that guy has a really good work ethic. And when you look at the type of improvements that Tyrese has been making year after year, the significant jumps in scoring, assists, and also rebounding, it tells you that this guy is an extremely hard worker. And I think we definitely saw that in Sacramento, and I think we're also definitely seeing that in Indiana and maybe even at a higher level. Because when you look at Tyrese's overall offensive abilities in his rookie season compared to where he's at now, it's pretty clear that he's made significant improvements. Not only has he added new aspects to his offensive game, but he's also become a lot more refined. As at this point, Tyrese does a really nice job at hitting that catch and shoot 3-point jump shot, which is something that he had in his rookie season, but also what he does a really nice job of is creating for himself from that 3-point range. Whether you talk about the crossover, sidestep, or step back into a 3-point jump shot, at this point Tyrese has it all, and he does so at a really efficient rate. But even besides that, he has a decent ability from that mid-range area, whether you talk about the 1-dribble pull-up, crossover, or sidestep into a mid-range jump shot, putting up those floaters in the lane. He has a lot of different ability from that mid-range area as well, but also, as I mentioned, he has a really nice ability to drive all the way to the basket as well. Whether you talk about finishing around players with crafty layups or finishing through players with N1 finishes, it's pretty clear that Tyrese has a really nice ability and a really nice knack to finish around the basket. And although a lot of those abilities that I mentioned were abilities that Tyrese had in his rookie season, I think the biggest difference between then and now for him is he's just a lot more refined and a little bit more efficient with them. And I think based upon the improvement and the overall skill that Tyrese has been showing season after season is a huge reason and a huge indication that he's only going to get better with time. I think in the long-term future, there's no reason to believe that he wouldn't be able to get to a superstar type level. Because even at this point, I think it's pretty clear that he's playing at an all-star level. He has those games where he puts up incredible statistics like he just recently did, but even besides that, he does a great job at being very balanced. Not only having the ability to put up 25 plus on any given night, but also having the ability to put up 10 or 12 assists per game on any given night as well. I think that overall ability and that overall versatility is a huge reason for why I think his future is extremely bright. But I guess only time will tell what does end up happening for Tyrese Haliburton, but I will say I am extremely excited to see what does. But anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you think Tyrese Haliburton is a special talent, or do you not think so? But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did enjoy, check one of these two videos popping up now, and until the next time, peace out guys.